Hi everyone, I'm Stefan Spijkers from PIMvendors.com and welcome to this lightning demos on workflows. I'm very glad to have you all here. We're very excited to have so many people joining us from all over Europe, all over the world actually. And we have a very nice group of pitches lined up for you. We have some technical issues, that's why we're starting a little bit later. And instead of sort of going into this full pitch mode and me blabbling all about PIM vendors, definitely check out our website and check out PIMvendors.com. I'm just going to dive in real deep with Chris from Mediacockpit. Chris, welcome to the Lightning Demos. I'm going to also add your screen share, and right. I'm going to remove myself. The floor is totally yours.
Thanks, Stefan. Thanks to everyone who's attending, and yeah, fingers crossed that the presentation continues here as well as it started now. I'm Chris Turchin, and I'm happy to talk to you a little bit about workflow in Mediacockpit and just working in flow. I think the important thing there is not so much the workflow aspect, but really keeping that flow and moving smoothly through the system and stuff. But of course, you know, we have a workflow engine within the system. You can have different workflow stati. They can have as many or few workflows as you want. The states can be global, they can be language specific, whatever. And they can be associated with different object types. What does that mean? So you could have different workflows for your media than for your products, etc. The little screenshot you're seeing there, we'll look at it in the system in a second. Is basically editor. You can create the transitions, you can set up permissions and all that cool stuff that you would expect. Within the system, users can transition workflows. That means, you know, from in review to in release. These transitions can support different validations and checks. Is all your data complete? They can support permissions. Am I even allowed to do this transition? And obviously they can also, they include hooks for custom code. So that could be notify some web API that something has happened, or send an email, or start a publication, or all sorts of stuff. We have another module called Media Projects that kind of embeds this whole idea of workflow into a collaboration area. So what Media Projects is really the combination of the workflow that we just saw with the users and tasks and the objects that the workflows are acting on into what we call a project. And a project has everything you would expect. It's got a start and end date. It's got members of a team, the workflow, and based on those parameters, it's able to create different tasks for users as objects move along their life cycle in the system. Typical workflow in the system, and we'll just go through this live in 1 second. Basically, somebody initiates a workflow, they request data. This data is that creates a task either manually or automatically, which then results in an action. Again, you can, as the workflow progresses, more tasks can be created. There can be a single task, like the data manager has to edit the data, or multiple tasks at the same status. So when it comes to a review, maybe you have different departments that have to be reviewing the data. You've got marketing, product management, legal, etc. And at the end, obviously, things get released. You conversion the data, you can output the data, publish it, etc. But yeah, I don't want to show slides too much because I don't have much time anyway. So from there, I would dive right into the system. And wrong window, multiple browser windows here. But I believe here we are. So I'm already logged in, and I will jump between browser windows and between roles a little bit, obviously, as I progress through the system, but you can see here the relevant stakeholders here. Right now I'm on my dashboard, and I can see I've got some different widgets that are basically shortcuts into different parts of the system. I've got some status reporting and other highlights within the system and tasks, none of which are present at this time. If we look into some of these other submodules here, the PIM, also completely empty. the suite, a handful of data, but nothing of interest, just some representative files here. And we'll dive into this projects module that we're discussing. And we see here, you can have one or many projects. You might have one project for everything in the system, or a general project, and you might have projects for each product, product group, or other differentiation. When I look at this project, we heard about it before. We've got these base data, like a start and an end date. We've got members within a project. So in our particular case, I try to keep it really simple in this whole demo, just to get through kind of the functionality without getting caught up on the data. We've got a project manager. We've got somebody from marketing, somebody from legal, and somebody from sourcing for the supplying the data. And as I mentioned, these people have competencies within the project. What that means is when certain tasks arise, they're going to be the default person that's assigned to this task. I can go in here and I can, based on these different task types, so I can create different kinds of tasks. I could say here that a certain person, for example, sourcing, is responsible for those kind of tasks. On the other hand, I can also just create ad hoc tasks. So I can go in and say here, I want to import some new data, import the new supplier data. I might give them a date. The way I am, I would probably say it has to be done right away and ready to go. Oh, and I actually assigned it to the wrong person, so I'm going to edit it again. I wanted to assign that to sourcing. Save. And this is the first time that I'm going to switch roles in the system. So up to this point, I was just some sort of an admin. I'm going into the role of the sourcing person. And you can see here, I have a different dashboard. Again, something that we place a lot of value on, that the users can see what they need to see, what they want to see, and not just some sort of a default. And I can see I have this initial tasks here. So what I'm doing here is I'm importing data over this import module. The module itself, lots of features in terms of what kind of data, what kind of field mappings, etc. I don't have time to go into that. I have a predefined module here to import data, import profile. I can go in here to my desktop, and we can see here, file itself, simple flat file format, a couple of different fields that are mapped to data. I'm going to import that data. And as we can see here, this happens in the background. It might be a really big file. In our case, it's pretty small, so it goes pretty quickly. And we can see here, the system notifies me when things are done. That means I've finished my import, and I now have data in the. As we look into the PIM now, what we saw was completely empty is filled with data. This hierarchy obviously is flat. It could be as deep as I need it to be. I could have groups, etc. If I look at the data itself here, I can see that there's not much, basically what we saw in that flat file. But a couple of interesting things, and that's kind of what I mean by working in Flow, is that it's not just the workflow in the States. What we've already done here is we've integrated other systems. We've taken these translatable data that we imported, and we've sent them over a machine translation API and translated them into 5 languages. From there, this person might continue on to classify that data. So I can have different classifications or classification systems. These can be standards like SPSC or ETIM or eClass, or they can be customer defined. And so, keeping things simple, we're going to classify this as a widget. Widgets are my favorite. And we can see here, whereas before we had little to no data, now we do have different attributes. We can see the system provides different guidance for, are things mandatory or are they optional? We also have context-specific data that's kind of new in this feature. So we could say, okay, show me only the data for a given context, etc. I'm going to continue along here and just maintain a little bit of data by hand and click Save. And we can see the next thing the feature does the system does to kind of guide us along our way is completeness scores. It calculates how complete is my data. These quality gates can be kind of configured to say what is good, what is bad, etc. But I've gone ahead and I've done a little bit of maintenance, and now I could go ahead and I could close out that task that I was working on, or I can just go ahead and move the data to the next state. Depending on the nature of those tasks, some tasks are mandatory, some are optional. I can either close them or not. In this particular case, I'm just going to skip closing the task, and I'm going to advance this object to the next state. So what we see here is all of a sudden the whole UI is completely changed. Based on what status my data is in the system, I can configure my whole UI to my interface to be appropriate to that particular status. If only particular fields are relevant, if some data should be displayed but not editable, all of that is really easy to configure in a web-based editor. So I could continue along here and look along here and see that I actually don't have to. The task is actually moved on to the other person here, the product manager. So basically my job is done. But let's go ahead and change the state for a couple more objects as well here. So we can see here, again, all of this is freely configurable. I can have different columns. I can share columns with others. I've just set up one here to kind of give us an overview of the data we're looking at there. I'm going to go ahead here and edit using our mass editing feature. And we can see here, could go and edit attributes, or we can go here and set up classifications. And why don't we just do that real quick? And I'm going to reclassify this data as boxes because I like boxes better than widgets. And we can see here, I'm going to save this out. And with that, again, things happen a lot in the background because it could be a lot of data. We can see that the progress is complete. Maybe we will edit a little bit of attribute data. We'll say this is all brand B. Going to update that data. The system also provides, little previews and stuff like that. If you want to do that before, you can see, okay, that had an old data. This is new. I'm going to go ahead and save that out again. And last but not least, we can actually mass update the status as well. So I'm actually still the supplier here. I'm going to send all this data off to the product manager, or maybe not all of it. I don't want to overwhelm them. Going to send off those data here to the next status in the workflow. And with that, I can switch roles again. We've set the states. I'm going to leave my role as sourcing supplier and jump into a new role here as my product manager. And the product manager, we see, all of a sudden has lots of work to do. They have to maintain data on these different objects. They have tasks. They can quickly go to the objects. But maybe first things first, I'm going to go and actually going to switch roles one more time. Sorry, jumping back and forth a lot. But I'm going to go here, and over here, I'm actually the marketing person. I'm going to upload some product data, some product imagery. Why am I doing that? Just because another important part of this workflow in the system, we're saying these are new product images. And we can see here the images have been uploaded. If I switch over to Media Suite, I can see not only that they've already been processed, one of them was rejected. So why was it rejected? The system's going to inform me about that. It's because it doesn't conform to the naming conventions or something like that. If we look, however, at the image that was correctly maintained, we can see here on the one side, it went over an AI and it extracted some metadata about what it is. On the other side, we see here that we've actually assigned it to a bunch of different products automatically. Again, this is what we use, we call pipelines, and we can link the data based on naming conventions, etc. The reason I want to do that now, because it saves a lot of work for our product manager later. So we can go in here and go back and look at our data. And we can see we've got some different stati. The data quality has changed because the number of mandatory fields have changed as well. But if we go in and have a look at something, these two different fields, objects here, we can see one positive aspect. Everything is completely completed with media. We can see some other data here is not maintained yet. So boxes have a height, a width, and a depth, I guess. We can save that out. Another aspect about working with Flow is maybe not doing everything yourself. We can calculate things. We don't have to actually maintain all the data. So that's a little script running in the background there to do that for us. And basically, I think that might actually be done. So I could go ahead here and set my status to review. And if we go back and have a look at that workflow, we can see that when we go to review, we want to have tasks for different people as well. So a couple of things happened. Because the status is review, you can see here, the object is in read-only mode. That's configurable on every workflow, what stats should have what particular mode. And we should, yes. We can see that we have some new tasks as well. So let's say the product manager's in a hurry and they want to just move things along to release because they said that's good enough. He can try to do that, but again, the system can be set up in a way, again, just purely configuration to say that certain tasks are mandatory. And in those particular cases, we have to be done before, they have to be completed before we can continue along. So I'm going to make one last jump here. And I'm going to log in as our lawyer who has to do the legal approval. And we can see here too, he has a task to do. I'm going to go to my product. Still read only, but that doesn't mean I can't comment on it. So I could say here, looks fine. And I have a task to complete. I need to finish my task here. I'm done with the approval. And only then and only then am I able to go here and say, okay, release this product. Whether or not it's the lawyer that would do this or somebody else, that's another thing we could discuss. But go ahead there. And we can see here, we want to change the status. Yes, we do. And our status is released. On completion of that status, we actually create a version, a snapshot. Again, depending on the state of the object. In this case, we said when it's a release state, we want to create a version of that object that optimizes things like publishing, etc., because we don't have to pull all the data from the system. It also makes it possible for users to continue working on the product while publications are still running. So you might be publishing your summer catalog and already working on your winter catalog. It would reference those snapshots. Yeah, and those are kind of like the key highlights of the workflow engine within the system. I think really what I wanted to emphasize much more than the workflow engine and the task is just that it's all about working efficiently and doing things with less, automating tasks where you can, integrating AIs for things like machine translation for web services. Oh, one thing I actually did forget. We kind of looked at the data quality metrics. I'm going to go in here and look back at my dashboard as my admin user. And we saw that we could kind of see it here already. So we can have these different reports. Those reports can be about things like our product state we're looking at right there, or are things like data quality. So the completeness based on those mandatory fields, you know, that can be a really important aspect. And if we look at those, again, the reports can be visualized in different ways. They're telling us here not only how many articles are incomplete, but actually how many fields of data. So they can be very granular and very detailed. And just another really important aspect of moving data through the system and getting it out in the end. And that was my whirlwind tour through the system, and I hope I'm still in time. I haven't heard anything from Stefan yet, so I'm assuming I am.
No, you're very much on time, Chris. This is
all right.
a true lightning demo, I would say.
Oh man, it was a lot of lightning.
You did a great job. Do you want to share some closing thoughts with the audience?
Basically, yeah, that's it. I think we're tomorrow, actually, we're releasing a new version, Mediacockpit 12. Anyone that's interested in that, I'm sure there'll be news on all these channels that I listed here. Feel free to reach out to me for more details, or our sales and marketing team as well. But when things go deep, they'll probably contact me anyway. It was very interesting experience preparing this, and I hope it was entertaining to people without too much jumping back and forth. That was one thing I was a little bit nervous about, is, with workflows and roles and users ABC, but I hope it was comprehensible for everyone. Look forward to hearing from you.
That's cool. I mean, I will share your contact details with everyone after the session has ended as well, so they're free to reach you personally, or of course on the websites and channels that you just shared. I'm gonna remove you from the stream again. I want to thank you, Chris.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a good day. And it's on to our next speaker and next demo. Rolf, welcome and good evening. Welcome to the Lightning Demos.
Good afternoon. Good evening.
Good afternoon. I'm going to share your screen as well, and I want to say the floor is yours. Good luck.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Stefan. Much appreciated. Well, hello, everybody. My name is Rolf. I'm Senior Manager Digital Commerce at novomind. As an active member of the e-commerce software ecosystem since more than 20 years, I'm very pleased to contribute to PIM Vendor's exciting lightning session today. And when registering for today's session, you may have asked yourself, and I'm sure you have, what's in for me? And here are my answers. During my session, you will understand why workflow management is so important for product experience management. You will learn how novomind software enables workflow management throughout the entire product lifecycle, and you may hopefully feel inspired by a little demo of novomind PIM Workflow capabilities. With no further ado, let's get started with a brief introduction of novomind for those of you who may not have heard of us before. novomind stands for Customer-Focused Technology. This simple statement already explains a lot. novomind is a market-leading vendor of software for two business areas: digital commerce and customer service. Our target audiences are medium-sized and large companies, enterprises, retailers, manufacturers, service providers across regions and across industries. And for these customers, we provide custom-fit solutions with software and services from a single source. novomind solutions are always geared to the individual situation of a company and delivered by our professional services teams with passion and dedication. Since more than 22 years, actually, novomind has been successful in e-commerce business. Thanks to a continued organic growth alongside with high profitability, novomind constantly expands and now runs offices in Germany, where we're headquartered, across Europe, in the Middle East, in Asia, and opened up a new office in South Africa just recently, earlier this year. As a management-owned company, novomind is, unlike many other software vendors, independent from third-party investors. And such a long time of experience and success translates into security and reliability for our customers. It's not by accident that customer relations at novomind last for a decade or even longer. More than 500 employees are, as usual, the key to our customer success. novomind is truly a place where talent meets passion. All employees have digital DNA, mostly IT scientists and e-commerce specialists. They constantly strive for the best custom fit solutions for their customers. novomind proudly serves more than 250 satisfied customers across regions and industries, inclusive of the who is who of their respective market segments. Only amongst the users of novomind iPIM, you will find household names of market leaders from many industries, such as fashion, sports, outdoor, DIY, hardlines, consumer goods, automotive industry, telecommunication, energy providers, also banks, insurance companies, and public authorities. As a result, such a broad industry expertise constantly fuels the innovation spirit and speed at novomind. And this again positively impacts product development on the one hand, but also fuels the creativity of our professional services teams in finding smart solutions for any customer challenge. novomind software portfolio is built on two pillars: digital commerce and customer service. Digital commerce software includes novomind iShop, a most flexible all-in-one webshop system, novomind iPIM, a PIM and PXM software for growth-oriented retailers and manufacturers, and novomind iMarket, a highly automated marketplace middleware for strategic marketplace business. Customer service, the second pillar in novomind software portfolio, comes with novomind iAgent, a comprehensive contact center software for all communication channels with end customers. novomind Messaging API facilitates any kind of conversational commerce through easy and seamless connections to messenger services such as WhatsApp and many others. All novomind solutions are geared to power an outstanding customer experience in B2B, B2C, and D2C contexts. novomind software can be used best of breed. Our professional services teams guarantee a custom fit integration into any existing system landscape. But there is so much more than meets the eye when customers decide for combined usage of more than one novomind product. Combined usage immediately creates significant added value, such as consistent look and feel, comprehensive usage of artificial intelligence, fully integrated and constantly updated interfaces, and of course, seamless and powerful workflow capabilities across all novomind software products. And these synergies translate into improvements of our customers' business KPIs, like accelerated time to market, like increased customer satisfaction, higher conversion rates and lower return rates, and last but not least, of course, increased revenues. And these KPI performance improvements are the result of what we call the connected eye products effect. This as a setting so that you see that the PIM, novomind iPIM is embedded in a software suite for e-commerce purposes. Let's now move on with a quick assessment of the question why workflow capabilities are so important for an outstanding customer experience. Well, as you all certainly know, complexity comes with a sheer number of people who are involved in the process of product data management. Stakeholders typically include specialists for the creation of editorial information like data editors, for the production of image and video materials like photographers and graphic designers, for translation and data quality management. In addition, there are buyers or product managers on the supply side, and webshop or sales channel managers on the demand side. All in all, workflow management is always about making sure information flows to the right people at the right time with clear indications of what actions they need to take. Any PIM software should support the interaction of all individual roles throughout the entire product lifecycle. Now that we have an idea of who is involved in the process of product data creation and maintenance, let's assess how workflow management impacts organizations. Well, at first, creation and documentation of structured workflows brings consistency into how tasks should happen. Consistency again brings operational resilience to an organization. And workflow management also creates visibility into how tasks are completed, as well as the roles and steps dedicated to execution. The visibility again allows managers identify opportunities to streamline, automate, and otherwise improve processes. Streamlined workflows translate nicely into time and money savings. Efficient workflows also help workers to be more productive as well as more satisfied with their jobs by removing repetitive, mundane, and low-value activities from their schedules. Workflow management also enables managers to assign the right individuals and roles to each one of these activities. And last but not least, workflow management helps improving the performance of organizations. Faster time to market, increased revenues. All in all, less effort, high quality data, better product experience, and improved productivity. That's why workflow capabilities are key to success. Let's now have a look into the software itself in order to get a good idea of how novomind iPIM manages workflows throughout the product lifecycle. Let me start with a very brief overview. novomind iPIM is a comprehensive commerce PIM and PXM software with modular architecture, SaaS-based, obviously. And like any other novomind product, iPIM is always implemented custom fit and seamlessly into companies' existing system landscape, as outlined in this chart here. Thanks to a comprehensive and rich set of features and functions out of the box, novomind iPIM supports all facets of product data management processes. Due to the time constraints of today's session and the setting, I will unfortunately not be able to talk about exciting iPIM features and benefits such as multi-client capabilities, such as globalization features, classification capabilities, and taxonomies. Nor will I talk about personalization and individualization or AI support for an intelligent product data management. Today's focus will rather be, as we agreed, on workflow management capabilities of novomind iPIM. Workflows in iPIM can be individually configured via iPIM Workflow, a dedicated module of iPIM software for graphical definition and configuration of product-related tasks, whether they be sequential or parallel or role-related. Any powerful PIM software should enable workflows across all systems and across all processes within a company organization. Why is that so? Because of the relevant inbound sources for product data need to be connected seamlessly. Supplier data, digital assets, marketing content, ERP data, as well as relevant outbound target systems for product data. For example, web shops, marketplaces, print or mobile devices, e-catalogs, and POS systems. novomind iPIM manages product data from import in the center of this circle, from import through transformation to validation, via enrichment and refinement to translation, and finishes with channel-specific distribution or syndication of the relevant content. iPIM's powerful workflow capabilities enable the execution of all product-related tasks throughout the entire product lifecycle. Typical examples for such product-related tasks are work lists, i.e. role-specific tools for individuals and for teamwork across an organization, digital asset management, data quality management, related processes like data approval, data assessment, or data correction and cleansing based on customer information and feedback. Another task, a typical task, is product data, text descriptions and translations, typically indicated by dedicated workflow events, as you will see in the software demo. In order to facilitate comprehensive and powerful workflows, users find workflow references on almost every screen of novomind software. Here, the iPIM dashboard. The traffic light symbology, upper right section of the dashboard, visualizes the status progress of data maintenance and data quality for all products. Each traffic light color represents a quality status of the products, and in this case, 5 predefined individually configured statuses: green, amber, orange, yellow, red, etc. Another example you find in the tiles in the My Tasks section of the iPIM dashboard. These visualize personalized work lists for individual users. The work lists highlight obviously the name and the number of all the products included in the work lists. Dynamic work lists also show the time of the last refresh, as you can see here. The module iPIM Workflow is one of several dedicated modules for specific functional tasks within iPIM. The module iPIM Supply, for example, empowers product data onboarding from suppliers, whereas the module iPIM DAM facilitates the creation and management of digital assets and rich media. iPIM Workflow eventually, as a module, enables easy and user-friendly definition and configuration of product-related tasks. novomind iPIM leverages BPMN, Business Process Modeling and Notation, an industry standard for the visualization of workflow modeling, very common in business informatics and process management. Let's now look into a real-life example and assume the role of a text editor in a company or in an organization whose job it is to create and maintain all text descriptions for all products in various languages. This editor starts his daily tasks on the product detail screen of iPIM, as you can see here. The software then provides him or her with valuable automation support for text translation through intelligent workflow management. By the way, did you know why text descriptions are so business critical? As we learned from analysts and research, the main reason for high return rates proved to be poor text descriptions, believe it or not. For text editors, though, this manual translations of text description for hundreds and thousands of products into other languages is not only highly repetitive and most boring, but also very error-prone. novomind iPIM's workflow automation features help editors be more productive and provide high data quality. And as you can see on this screen of iPIM, the editor already created German and English text description for a little Spider-Man figurine. Going back to the product details dashboard, the red traffic light indicates that, here it comes, a task text maintenance is still missing. And once the German text is successfully validated, the traffic light symbol changes from red to yellow. And upon validation of the English text, it changes again from yellow to green. And this status automatically triggers the translation into French language. And upon refresh, that's why the screen refreshes, the French language translation automatically appears not only on screen, but in all relevant systems. This is, of course, no magic, but rather a smart example for a seamless workflow-based integration of third-party translation services. Good to know, IPIM comes with DeepL and with Google Translate integration out of the box. This is why this is just a very simple example for a workflow with few parameters and triggers. Most complex workflows can be easily and flexibly configured, role-specific or event-triggered. Yeah, coming to the end of my session, I hope you all agree that powerful workflow capabilities make the difference. Whenever you select the PIM software, please make sure to choose one with excellent workflow capabilities. And wrapping up my session, what should resonate? I'd be happy if you remembered 3 simple aspects from what you heard today. Number 1, novomind is a market-leading vendor of software for customer service and digital commerce, for B2B, B2C, and D2C. Number 2, novomind guarantees custom-fit solutions with software and services from a single source. And number 3, novomind IPIM is a comprehensive commerce PIM PXM software with powerful workflow capabilities that support the interaction of all individual roles within an organization throughout the entire product lifecycle. Please, same as my fellow colleague before, don't hesitate to contact me at any time in case of questions or comments. I'll be pleased to share more insights and more detailed product demos with you. Thank you very much.
Cool. Rolf, thanks so much. We will share your contact details in the presentation as well with all the attendees. Thank you for the lightning demo, and we're moving on. And we're moving on to our final guests, which we have 2 in our case, from inriver. Carl, Jake, welcome. I want to give you the floor. Jake, are you going to take the lead, or Carl, is it your presentation?
I'll go first.
Yeah, cool. Good luck. You have the floor.
Okay, thank you very much. Great presentations, Rolf and Chris. Really loved it. Looks good what you guys are bringing to the. But at least it's Jake and I, our turn to introduce to you guys our take on workflows and enriver PIM. I'm gonna keep my introduction short because we went a little bit over time on the other 2 sessions. So my name is Carl. I'm Senior Partner Manager at enriver, and my mate Jake is going as a demo. He's Senior Solution Engineer at enriver. If you're lucky enough, you will have had a couple of sessions with us. A little bit about enriver, the background, just to give you guys a little bit of the lay of the land. We are a multi-tenant SaaS solution. We are built on a successful ecosystem of tech and solution partners. We solve enterprise product problems. We've done that more than 1,200 times. Support brands. Mistake there. My apologies for anyone from France that's watching. We have offices in France, Netherlands, Germany, United States of America, Asia Pacific, and the Philippines. We've grown immensely in the last years. When I started back about 4 years ago, I know there was about 120, 130 people, predominantly all located in Malmö. We're originally from a head office. Some for us. We have a 0 carbon footprint, which is something really important these days. powered by the Vattenfall wind turbines. Our partners collectively have built more than 24,000 extensions on top of our solution, proving its robustness. I wanted to take you guys through a little bit of what we've discovered in the market. Now we see the market going. We definitely see a really big increase in the need for product data, accurate product data. There are more users for it, more expectations, and of course a wider range of audience than ever before. So these demands are evolving, and based on these demands, what we've done is we've positioned ourselves to make sure we power the entire product journey. Starting at the top, understandably, allowing our clients to track the environmental footprint of these products, of their products, materials, and parts. Goes without saying that sustainability is at the top of the agenda these days. Configurability, being able to configure products and services based on your needs, enabling a consistent path to purchase with a single source of truth across all of your channels, including localization, increased sales opportunities, understandably, and then mitigating the risk of returns of products. Now, our unique capabilities, what we bring really to the table, I've defined them. Like I said, I've cut a couple of slides out here. I can give you the long version if you're interested. We have an elastic data model that provides a single source of truth, which we allow our clients to develop further. Sustainable, meaning it will grow with your organization. We have product asset management integrated into our solution. We have a digital shelf analytics tool, which allows you to actually audit your products and their online performance. We have a solid and extensive partner ecosystem, not only systems integrators, but also technology partners such as a Binder, a Primo, SAP, Salesforce, Commerce Tools, etc. We are a multi-tenant architecture, fully SaaS-based, and we boast the only SOC 2 Type 2 SOC 2 compliance in the PIM industry. As promised, I'm going to keep it short. Getting on to the next slide. It is time for the demo. Usually it comes at the end of it. I don't know if we're going to be cut off hard, but Thursday, January the 12th, you can enjoy a more extensive demo, a live demo. Just go to our site and register there. I'm going to hand it over to you, Jake.
Awesome. Okay, so you should all be able to see my screen now. And before we jump into the live demo, highlighting inriver and how we can work smarter with our workflow capabilities, I'd just like to go over a couple of slides highlighting how product information moves through our solution. So initially, I'd just like to talk about the PIM process that we're seeing in front of us here. So these are the 4 stages within our solution. Starting from accumulate, so onboarding product information from source systems, from suppliers, wherever that currently sits within the ecosystem, and accumulating that into inriver as your single source of truth. Then the create phase or enrichment, and this is where we will focus on today predominantly for a lot of the workflow capabilities. And if you think about the enrichment phase, there are lots of different roles working on this product information together in parallel. So of course, this is where workflow becomes very important, taking the information that's come from source systems or from suppliers and really enhancing that. So if we think of the different types of roles here, roles focusing on media management, managing the assortments, translations, marketing texts, and so on. And if the workflow is taken care of correctly, a lot of this can be taken care of in parallel, rather than having things like bottlenecks and people waiting for other users to do their part of the workflow, basically. So this is something I'll try and highlight today in the demonstration. We've then got the engage phase or the distribution phase, and this is where we're publishing product information to our channels. We see some examples there of the types of channels we're typically publishing information to, the likes of e-commerce, could also be point of sale systems, and also syndication through our Syndicate app to marketplaces and resellers too. Now, you'll also see a 4th phase on there, which is evaluate, which is really providing something we call digital shelf analytics, which is very unique to inriver as a PIM solution. What digital shelf analytics is doing is providing our customers with a way of measuring data that's out there on the digital shelf. This could be your own SKUs, your own products, or perhaps even the SKUs and products of your competitors, and being able to analyze this and then bring this information back into PIM in order to adjust and improve your product information even further. And this is also something that can be incorporated into the workflow. So it's actually taking information from the digital shelf and being able to use that to work in a smarter way and enhance your product information, essentially. So just before I go into the solution, I'd like to highlight a couple of different roles who we will see throughout the demonstration. So first of all, we're going to see Molly. Molly is a master data manager. And here I've just highlighted a few things which are important in Molly's role, such as importing data, generally ensuring data quality, so making sure the products and other entities within inriver are classified and correctly enriched, and also being able to perform search queries and create work areas to improve workflow processes. We're also going to take a look at things from a different perspective from Colin. Colin is the e-commerce manager. Therefore, Colin is looking at PIM from a completely different perspective. Colin's interested in translations and local content for his e-commerce channels that he manages. Also media management and generally assortment management, so setting up rules and ensuring that the channel is maintained correctly. So let's jump into the inriver solution. So now what we're seeing here is the dashboard of inriver. We're seeing several different widgets at the moment which are providing relevant insights to Molly in her role as master data manager. A few things I'll draw attention to here, for example, is the workflow widget that we're seeing in the center of the dashboard here. So instantly, this is giving Molly some great insights to the completeness of specific products within certain sections of the business. So for example, we can see here that 99% of products going to Amazon are in a state of completeness, whereas only 92% on the e-commerce channels are complete. So this is an interactive widget. Molly can actually go directly into these queries. For example, if she's to click on e-commerce, this will take Molly directly into the work area containing all of these products that are not quite complete yet for the e-commerce channel. The great thing about having products grouped together in a work area like this is the ability for users to then be able to perform things like bulk actions across these products. So for example, Molly could then select these products and using this menu over here, perform things like a mass update. In addition to this, she could also create a task directly to these products, perhaps highlighting to another user within inriver that they need to carry something out in order to make sure that these products can become complete for e-commerce. So before we dive a bit deeper into work areas and all the elements of an inriver workflow, I'd just like to go to the Enrich dashboard and talk about a few other concepts around workflow, which I describe as kind of the building blocks that build your workflow within inriver. Work areas being one of them. So on the left-hand side of the screen here, we can see work areas. And work areas split into two key areas. So we've got personal work areas, which we can see here, and then shared work areas. So the shared work areas is a collaborative space where users can access products in the enrichment phase or just in inriver in general, and based on queries, be able to access them. So here we can see in this workflow section, this is something that the users can do to see products in the different stages. So perhaps if we go into Master Data Manager, we can then see a dynamic folder, which is showing all products which need their source data validating or their classification validating, for example. We also have in the personal area, Molly has a dynamic work area, so it's showing all products requiring classification. In addition to highlighting the stage or current status of a product, the work areas can also be used for general navigation purposes as well. So we can see here, we have a products work area. And for example, if we go into furniture, we can see all products that are classified as furniture products, okay? And there is a query that sits behind these folders. As we can see here, entity type is a product and product class level is furniture, okay? So these are dynamic folders that are constantly kept up to date with this dynamic rule. So in combination with work areas, users can also receive tasks and notifications. For example, when Molly receives products in her work area for the need for classification information, this can also trigger a task, which we can see here. So she has also received a task outlining that she needs to add classification information here. The notifications can also trigger notifications to an email and offer a notification in that form, as well as directly within enriver. A third component really that's also driving workflow is completeness rules. So you can see on my entities in the center of the screen here, we have some different product entities. And on those entities, we can see this green circle, which is highlighting how complete this product is. So in this current state, we can see this product is 100% complete. And this breaks down into different sections. So we have a general completeness, and these are the mandatory fields that need to be hit in order for this to be complete. We've then got channel specific, e-commerce, and Amazon completeness rules. Okay, and these can also, by being complete or incomplete, can trigger actions and tasks and notifications to other users. So by utilizing work areas, dynamic work areas, completeness rules, and the task and notification system in enriver, you can really create quite parallel and flexible workflows. Whilst a product could be in Molly's work area here requiring classification, it could also exist in another user's work area for other reasons, perhaps to add some media or to enrich the marketing text, for example. Now, what we can also do in enriver is using something called an application template, is change the way that we actually view workflow. So what we're doing here is having the ability to subscribe to different groups of work areas based on the user's role. So we have some different workflows to subscribe to here. For example, master data manager, media manager, product manager. As Molly is a master data manager, we have subscribed to this workflow in which we can then see the relevant queries for her role. So we now see there is a red light here. She needs to validate some inbound source data and also validate some classification data. Now, this is also interactive. We can go dive straight into the work areas and find the products in question. We could also perhaps, if necessary, subscribe to some other work areas and see where the sort of bottlenecks are or where products need to be enriched. But let's jump into this validate classification query. And here we can see the product in question. So if we open up this product, we can now see the completeness rule is only at 92%. So the level 1 and level 2 classification needs to be enriched. You can then go to the product details here and correctly classify this product. So it's from decor, it's an object, and it's an urn. So we're going to go ahead and hit save then. And we can now see that the completeness rule has now met 100%. So now let's take a look at things from a different perspective. So what we're seeing here is Colin. Now, Colin is our e-commerce manager. So the way he interacts and views the system is going to be completely different to that of Molly. Now, rather than the dashboard, we have channel insights loaded up here for Colin. Now, channel insights is providing digital shelf analytics functionality. And what it's doing is actually tracking some of the SKUs of products from the assortment on Colin's channel on Wayfair as a retailer's site, and providing information on how visible they are they in stock, and also their ranking within the digital shelf. So this is using the channel insights functionality, which is of course very helpful for Colin in his role. But let's go back into Enrich, and we can see Colin also has some personal work areas defined, as well as the shared work areas, and is interested in a whole different selection of products. But we can see that Colin also has a task defined here, and it's prompting him to add this particular product into a room entity. So what we want to do is basically map this product into a living room. So what we're going to do is create a relationship between this product and the relevant room. So if I just go back to my my dashboard for Enrich, I'm going to open up my rooms work area, which I can see here. And I know that this is the room that I want to add this new product to. So if I go over to my merchandising tab, what I can do, I can see the urn there, which we've just enriched. And what I want to do is locate this product from a work area. So I could also search for this product using the query editor. So I'm searching for the entity type of a product. And to filter down my search, we've just enriched the classification. So I'll be able to find it like this. And okay, so there is my urn that we've just enriched. And what I'm going to do now is map this to this image here. So I'm going to create an area. And then I'm going to go ahead and link the product to the area. And that has then created a relationship to the image, and therefore the task is complete for Colin in this case. So I can go ahead and change the status of that task and make sure it's complete. Now, as the e-commerce manager, it's also important to be able to manage the channel. So if I go across to the plan and release app, so far we've been focusing on Enrich. And if I go into my e-commerce channel here, now what I want to show here is how we can ensure that by setting up the correct rules, we can ensure that the right products find their way into the right channels and the right nodes within the channel. So as we can see, perhaps if I open up my my living room channel, we can, if I open this up, we can see on the sofas channel, for example, we have rules in place, and these rules are ensuring that for a product to make its way into this channel, it has to be classified in the correct way, and it also has to pass certain certifications and workflows. Now, by ensuring that these rules are configured correctly on your channel, as your products pass through the inriver workflow and meet the right certifications, get the right approvals from the relevant users, they will then filter their way into the channel and then can be published in this case, to the e-commerce platform. Okay. Just going to. So, just a quick fire demo. I hope it was relevant and on the topic of workflow, and was able to highlight that some of the ways that which we can approach workflow and working with product information in general in enriver.
Thanks, Jake. Wow, that was again a good Lightning demo. Thank you for the demo, for the presentation, and I'll wrap everything up for all the members of the audience that have stayed until now. I want to thank you for joining us today. I want to thank the the vendors for pitching their product and sharing their vision on workflows today. And if you have any questions on their presentations or on the toolings, we will be sharing their contact details and their full presentations. They shared some shorter presentations because of the Lightning demo concept today. We will be sharing those with you probably tomorrow. And we will share the full recording early next week. If you have missed a bit, either because we're finishing a bit late or because we started a bit slower. So again, thanks for joining us. If you need more information on PIM, you can find that on our website. So on PIMvendors.com, you can find free tools such as our free cost calculator if you want to know how much a PIM would cost you or your organization. You can find our independent knowledge base with all kinds of PIM information. And you can get a free independent shortlist with 5 tailored PIM solutions that match your PIM requirement profile. So I would say, please do check that out. I want to wish you all a very nice evening. It has turned dark. I think the same happened with all our vendors who had to put on lights to remain visible. I'm going to wrap up. Have a good night, have a good evening, and see you soon on one of our next events. Thank you so much for watching.